Matchbox collectors, welcome back to my 1969 Matchbox by year review video, looking at all of the latest models released by Matchbox in the year 1969 to their 1 through 75 collection, as well as everything else in that little collector's catalog. Lots of cool information about all of the models, extra details, and we're going to look at every page in there as well as each of these models and some of their awesome features. So I have 21 out of the 23 models to share with you for this particular year, the rest of which were already seen in the prior year and my prior video, 1968 Matchbox by the year. I don't have a whole bunch of new king-size cars that were released here, but we'll look at the page that exists in the catalog showing those models. And without further ado, let's get right into this vintage Matchbox review. Let's start by looking through the pages of the USA Edition Collector's catalog for 1969. And some of the pages are similar to the ones that we saw in the 1968 catalog, including this advertisement for the collector cases since available in 1968. New for 1969 were these crystal clear sort of plastic wall display or desk display cubes that could be purchased for 49 cents each. I assume that was for 5 cubes. Also new was the traffic game, Matchbox traffic game. Looks like a board game that did come with 2 vehicles for players 2 to 4, although the third child wearing the striped shirt, 3 striped shirts, does not have a car to play with, so bring some extra cars, I suppose. Never seen that board game. Also new for 1969 was this kind of like a slot car sort of idea, but not. Matchbox Motorway, quite an expensive set for the time. $22.95 US, would have been quite a few dollars back then. And so this worked with all of your Matchbox models, apparently. Has 14 feet of track, 2 variable speed controllers, complete with 2 cars, and I assumed that they had some catches or something that could maybe hook on to the axle of the little Matchbox vehicles. Obviously not going to work with the super fast king-size cars, but I don't know. I've never seen one of these either, so I can't really comment on the functionality of that. Matchbox, an extension set as well. Matchbox Motorway extension set gives you some extra parts to add 6 feet of track and make it a little bit crazier. So bringing the total price up to almost $30 US in 69. And then that brings us right into the 1 through 75 series. That's all the small cars you're going to see in the background of this video. All of the ones that were new for this year, that is, because many of the models were carry forwards from years prior. And we're not going to go through all of those again, as we just saw those in the videos where they were released beforehand. Auto steer, there's a bit of a mention about that again, but that's not new. And so let's just take a quick look at the pages before we get right into the models. Nice artwork once again, very clear. Now the panels with the additional artwork on the sides are a bit smaller than years prior, but we've still got some interesting little pictures. And quite a few new models. Some details on how hoods and doors open and interiors, I guess. But a lot less artwork or smaller sections. Beautiful little rendering of the Lamborghini Mira. New for this year. I do have that one, but mine has super fast wheels, so I'm going to save it for the 1970 catalog, where the super fast wheels become introduced, and not beforehand, even though the paint jobs will be the same. Yeah, so there's a little picture of the new crane. Again, the Dodge crane truck looks the same in 1970, but mine has super fast wheels, so saving it for that. I did bring forward my collector number 69 Hatra tractor shovel because I forgot to show it in my 1968 video. So I guess we'll just do that right now It's just too cool of a little piece to completely miss. And so I wanted to share that with you. Plastic wheels and lots of functionality on that shovel. And other than that, we've got the roadways, Build a Road. So this was a bunch of plastic sections. Those were released in years prior, as were the pop-up roadways. We've got the roadway, construction site, and farmland. Just kind of very crude, basic artist renderings of those. We've seen those before. Also released in '68 and now carried forward once again, the service station, with a bit of different artwork and some extra details showing the Matchbox label and some 3 flags up there that wasn't shown previously. And now newly advertised are these Matchbox puzzle pictures, 39 cents each. Then we're into the king size, and the only new king size truck out of the 20 or so that were released, still continuing to be released, was the Scammell Heavy Wreck Truck, of which thankfully I have a copy of. Mine has a little bit of playwear, as do most of my vintage Matchbox models. But it's a pretty cool piece, and it's got the typical kind of loose plastic wheels that just fall off. Amazing they still have all of them. And it's a big truck. So it would have a hook there, I guess. It's a little bit of a larger scale, I think, than 1/64th, or maybe it is, but it's some of the cars are not actually 1/64th either. We don't really know for sure what they are, but anyways, all the other trucks, same as before. So we'll just skim through that. And pretty basic artwork. Not a lot going on in the side panels. We have a few pictures here, but those were released in previous catalogs. Same true for the tractors at the train yard. Now, the king-size cars are new. However, the Mercury Cougar was released mid-1968, depicted with a blue paint job. Typically, those first introduction images in the catalogs don't have the correct paint job ultimately. So I'm not really sure if it did come out in blue, but here it is, probably very accurately in kind of a orangey gold. And then 3 other models as well, a Mercury police car, Dodge Charger, and Lamborghini Miura as well. Those will all be roughly about 1/43rd scale. There's a little bit about that. So larger cars, about the size of this truck really, but as a car versus a truck. Now, Matchbox of yesteryear, these are the old type of vehicles, are also about 1/43rd scale. Well, there was only 1 new model and potentially 2 recolors introduced for 1969, but the artwork changed drastically. Drastically kind of implies bad, but it's nice artwork with lots of creative flair versus in years past when it was more simply, this is the '68 catalog we're looking at, here's the same vehicle. So we've got all this artwork in the background for all of them, probably to appeal to more adult collectors, as these older, larger vehicles would. And check out all the details now that they include for each of these cars. So that is also new, kind of more of a historical approach to the collection. The Y5, yesteryear Model 5, 1907 Peugeot, is a new model for '69. I don't have any of these. Y6 and Y7 showing different paint variations versus in the 1968 catalog when they were introduced. So more likely these are the actual final paint colors that were chosen and not the initial print. But just some really nice artwork and really cool information on all these old cars that wasn't seen ever before. Perhaps if you actually bought the model and had the little box, it would show you all that. But yeah, I was enjoying reading through all this. There's too much to read here and keep this video moving. Gift sets, pretty much the same as years prior. Service station, transport set, farm set, race and rally set. The G4 race and rally set was the one with the most significant changes. That one has different colored race cars and several new models, as well as artwork depicting that Volkswagen on the front, which wasn't the case earlier. As always with Matchbox catalogs, there's a little blurb about the history of something or other, usually to do with production of the vehicles themselves. This one is the history of the wheel. So I'm not going to go into that either, but just some more auxiliary information you could find and how it might relate to your toy hobby. I suppose it was seen as like an educational opportunity for children to learn with their toys and relate to the toys. And then we're straight into the adult stuff once again: stainless steel ashtrays, utility box, pipe trays. These models of yesteryear plated in various silver and gold sort of looking things with the old leather-bound books in the background. And that is the total catalog right there. So let's go in and look at all the models now that we've got here on the table. Now for this video, I'm going to make less of an emphasis on the old junky models that I have in the background, because of which I have many with my Matchbox collection. There's a lot of old junky duplicates. So we're going to take a look at my best examples. And here is the first new vehicle for 1969, coming at collector number 6 with the auto steer. So if you press on it, apparently it would steer. You can kind of see that on the bottom here. Let's see if we can just demonstrate that. I mean, it kind of works. Maybe it worked better when it was brand new. But a really nice truck. The Ford pickup with the removable plastic cap. Most often missing from these models when in played with condition, but this nice example still has it. Black painted base. Next up is the Volkswagen, and this is coming in at collector number 15. Volkswagen 1500. Check out that Rally Monte Carlo decal on the front bumper and stickers on the door. Now this one has a white interior. In the catalog, it shows it having a red interior, but oh, you know why? It's because this one has the super fast wheels. It most likely belongs in my 1970 video. So that could be one of the changes. Well, you've seen it now. You'll probably see it again. And here's one that has fallen apart. The rivets have come apart, but somehow it is miraculously still all there. This is a true survivor, coming in at collector number 16, the Case Bulldozer. Original green treads. Check it out. There it is in the artwork once again. Very unusual to find something like this with the actual original rubber treads on it and that removable plastic cab. And just a really, really nice model. It's got a giant hook on it. No real functionality other than the turning of the treads, which I wouldn't dare do at this point because they would certainly crumble to bits. And here we have the number 17 horse box, as it's called. It's got a door, and it would have come with 2 of the classic plastic white horses that come with so many of the farm-related collectibles from Matchbox in this time period. Unfortunately, I don't have any of those out at the moment. And this one is more specifically known as the Ergomatic Cab, because we have seen the Ergomatic Cab with various other rear attachments in other models. The field car is really quite neat. Collector number 18, also new for this year, and featuring the plastic red wheels with the removable tires, as it were, and a full spare tire on the back. Now, often found with the roof missing, this one seems to be on. You can see it's got a little plastic rivet there holding it together. But realistically, mostly missing wheels. Now, I'm not sure what kind of truck this is. I forgot to look that up. It kind of looks like an International, but I'm probably wrong. So, let me know in the comments if you know what this field truck depicts in real life, because that's all it says on the base. Then we've got collector number 19. So a whole bunch of cars in a row here that are new. The Lotus racing car with the actual little driver still intact, and the stickers on the door, and of course those very easy to lose wheels. A little bit of cat fur holding that one on there. Number 20, the taxi cab Chevy Impala, and this car has been seen in years prior, but it always had like a beige or a white interior, and now for the first time with a red interior and red driver. So that makes it new for this particular model year. Number 21 is also new, the Fodden concrete truck. Very similar to the 8-wheel Scammell tipper that we've seen in years past. At least the cab is. I don't have that model out to compare it with you guys, but it is a completely different casting. Happens to have 8 wheels as well with this kind of functional piece. It will actually turn the cement mixer as the model is being rolled on the ground. This acts like a 9th wheel essentially, and that is pretty neat. Oh, we're going to skip ahead quite a few numbers now to the next new model, which comes in at number 28, and that is the Mack dump truck. Very cool model. It's got the details on the hood saying Mack on the grill, radiator cap, air horns depicted, and really nice tipper bed function. I'm just really partial to this truck. I think it's quite a neat piece and quite recognizable. Very common truck from years gone by. And that brings us to collector number 34, the Volkswagen Camper. So this van has been produced in years prior, for several years actually, but it always had a higher roof than this now lower, sleeker roof. Not sure why they chose to change that. It has the opening doors, of which I only have one left. You can see it's got a pretty nice little detailed sitting arrangement in there. So there it is, the Volkswagen minibus camper. There it is with both doors, of course. And the next new model is the Honda motorcycle with trailer. So compatible with any of the smaller vehicles that have a hitch attachment on the back. For instance, the Volkswagen Beetle has that. And you can tow this around with those models. We won't demonstrate that once again, as we've already done that before. Stickers for the Honda trailer. I believe this was originally released in just red with the same motorcycle. And that is, of course, removable with plastic tires on it. The next car to look at in this case is the number 47. Oh, missed one. Number 46, Mercedes-Benz 300 SE with opening doors and an opening trunk. Really like this model. It has been released in the year prior, but this is now the first time seen in blue. And just for fun, here is my absolutely roached, crushed, played with version. Still has the doors and the trunk on it somehow, but clearly it has taken quite a bit of damage. Now we're at number 47. That's the DAF tipper container truck. And it's got a plastic portion under the cab. Quite a common truck to be seen with different attachments. This part of plastic can come off pretty easily. I think we'll leave it on though. And that, of course, tips. So the plastic part is often missing on these played with examples. And now I do have an example to show you here, but it's in terrible condition. It's the kennel truck. Appears to be a Ford pickup truck that should have a clear plastic lid on the back and 4 little white doggies. Well, I have 3 little white dogs, but actually specifically are for this particular truck. As you can see by the little bases on them, they've got points to make them fit into these little square cubes, and then normally they would be protected and stored in here with that clear cover. Unfortunately, my truck is missing the grill. And the other version that I have of it is not much better. Cracked windshield and half a grill. Just pooch. This one does have the steering. Still functioning. But clearly in worse wear than one would like. Now this model here, number 51, is new for this year. Available mid-69. Again, whenever Matchbox does this, typically the paint doesn't match. And although this one has Douglas livery on the sides and a red cab, I think ultimately this truck was chosen to be painted yellow with the pointer dog sticker livery on the sides. Because I've never seen a red version. I could be wrong, but in the very next catalog, 1970, you'll see this one with the super fast wheels. exact same. So I think this is the year that this particular truck deserves to be, with the old original wheels on it. Another awesome gift here from the last Rayok is this DAF truck with the girders on the back. So very nice to find this with the girders. They're hard to come by, obviously, because they get lost easily. And it was shown in the 68 catalog painted yellow, but it is actually a white truck. It was based on some of the commenters in the last video confirming that it was only ever seen white, and the girders can be used to assemble these strange little cubes, apparently. The next model is super cool. It's the Mercury Cougar. Opening doors, and these slightly newer style wheels with silver chrome caps, and suspension, also featuring the steering wheels. But again, like, pushing on it doesn't really change anything for me. Has a trailer hitch, so you can pull the Honda motorcycles. We looked at the tractor already. Also new, as we discussed, was the Dodge Crane truck. So we'll see that in 1970. Site truck, office, still there. And another new model was collector number 71. That is the Ford Heavy Wrecker with the SO sticker on the sides and plastic hook. Really like this model as well. Just an iconic big old truck, commercial looking truck. We've only got a few models left to look at in the 1 through 75 series. Another new one is the Mercury Commuter number 73. And nice wheels again. It's got two little dogs permanently fixed to the interior, pointing at the back. This one's clearly a little bit damaged. Also with the steering wheels on it. So you could set these up potentially, although they return to their centered position, but you could make it look like a little diorama. Here's a model I thought was kind of interesting. It's the final new model for this year. Collector number 74 is the Daimler bus. So I assume this is a Mercedes Daimler, maybe not. This sticker is not supposed to be there. I don't know what it is and why it's there, but SO livery on the side. Very rough condition. There's what it should look like. I think it's strange, though, because it's such a small scale with these tiny little old style wheels. And I'll be surprised if that one really lasts much longer in the model catalog. We'll see as we go. Okay, so that's all the models in the 1 through 75. Brings us right to the king size truck, which we already looked at. That's the whole catalog, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next 1970 Matchbox by the Year videos. Happy hunting.